do, do. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, or your regional equivalent. So, a little while ago, the Fields DLC was released for Reassembly, as well as a couple other nice little updates, which have come in the aftermath. And so, I want to... and you're going to have to forgive me for this, but those of you who've been with me for a while are hopefully used to this by now. I'm going to start a new season, while the current season, Season 3, the Red, or the Red playthrough, is still going. So, I wanted to demonstrate the new music and all these other things. So we have two soundtracks to, or both. I currently have it on both. We have the Fields OST and the normal Reassembly OST. I like the Fields one, but it's got a much different feel to it, much different tone, completely different. But it's very, very nice. I like it. So I'm hoping it'll play in pleasantly. It obviously works very well when you're in the middle of a field, which I've tried out before. But we're going to start a new game. I'm going to try and find myself an empty slot. We'll take 27. So here's the good old Kalarians. And then the Batarian Republic is somewhere down here. I'd have to find them. How have I misplaced the Batarians? Why are they can't be this low, surely. No, where am I just blind? No, they can't be that far down. Come on. No, they're right there. I'm an idiot. There's the Batarians. And then I want the... Oh, where are they? Why am I blind? Where are they? Oh, the City Experimentium. Oh, my word. There we go. So, if the City Experimentium is there, then I suppose we need to make slot 54 the Tinkrell. So you can see that the sound system is actually a bit weird. I wonder. So there's sort of that eerie chorus in the background, which I don't all too much appreciate. It's a little bit off-putting, but I do enjoy it. It's quite nice. Right. Inter de Malvia. Sure. Also, I wanted to show off this. So we can now edit the galaxy, which is very fun. Now, something I want to do first of all is turn off Tinkrell, so that the only thing that spawns is our own faction. This has been a long-standing annoyance of mine. And... we'll turn off the contestants. I think that's fine. We can maybe make... station count. Number of agents, please don't be that high. A little bit of lag. Come on, get there. That's very weird. And are you okay? Game, come on, poor thing. Okay, it'll get there eventually. Well, give me a moment. Okay, I've now adjusted a little more to my liking. So we're going to start up here. We can see our stations, how they stretch out into the vast galaxy. We've got a number of good old gravity wells and slow zones. That should be nice. Okay, let's load in, shall we? A new day dawns. A captain, born aboard a station. He never knew the crunch of dirt beneath his feet, nor the rustle of leaves in the wind. He only knew the stars and the vast eternity of space. The hum of generators, the turning of solar panels, the eternal hum of space station living, watching starships fly by. And now, finally, as a member of the Astrasvia Galaxy Expanse Unit, he's going to go and help his little empire out a little bit, so that one day his children can feel the crunch of dirt beneath their little feet. Alright, hello Tinkrell, it's been a while since I've played you. Ooh, okay. The A13 OS. I hope you know we work with the LAP OS, but that's beyond the point. Don't ask me. Demalvia. Extravia. Inter Demalvia is the Empire, and the Extravia Force is the Expansion Force. We are tasked with expanding the control of our empire throughout the galaxy. Now I hope turning off Tinkrell spawning won't mess with my factional spawning. It didn't seem to, so I think it'll be fine. Now, you two. Also, this is new. Locked velocity amplifier tells you the stuff that it tells you why the object is locked, which I like. Drone launcher, amongst other things. It'll pick one thing and kind of just say, hey, there's something missing. Which, ooh, Nucleon. I've never seen that before. Yeah, there's a few new ships as well, which I'm honestly not bothered by. It's very good. Let me grab a station, so we're actually building stations. And also let me organize these system structures into a acceptable outcome. Grab the wrong thing. How did I manage that? Okay. Cheaper drone types. Now, because this is the default faction loadout structure, I'm going to put all this stuff pretty low, and we're going to rapidly build up our own database. So, first things first, this craft is going to need a bit of a redesign, but we'll get there slowly. Let's just have a little burst around the place. I want to have a look at these upgrades. Ah, we actually have decouplers. Fun, very fun, very fun. So there are new blocks in the game, decouplers, as well as some other things that are more faction specific. The bees have a burst shield and lots of other fun stuff. And the Terran have I don't believe the bees have afterburners. I don't know, I haven't looked. But we also have these. Ooh, what the hell? A tanker. Big heavy tanker. That looks quite cool. Ignore the lag, it's just that it's generating all the nearby sectors. Tiny little bits of lag. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Almost easily surmountable levels of lagatology. And luckily, the blue plants are here. And they are living nice and happily. They take so long to reproduce, it's not really beneficial for us to stay here. Luckily, I believe Arthur, the sole developer of Reassembly, has finally fixed, I think, one of the long-standing bugs. Well, a long-standing issue, not so much a bug. That blue plants would die before they were able to reproduce. Because their reproduction cycle is so slow. You can see it. Actually, I don't think he's actually put in that fix yet. Oh, I need to remind him, but that's beyond the point. Green plants, great. Yes, we can take this area. Hello, farmers. We were here peacefully. No, okay. Well, our little drone friend is already shooting at them, so now they think we're here to attack them. Well, it's just, well, we might as well. This little craft is nice, but we need more. We need more everything. Well, okay, more something, I suppose. Now, some people ask me, why are there two struts here? Well, I believe that's because there were two struts made, and early ship designs used both of the struts. I think it was before mirroring was a thing. I think it's like a legacy holdover. And now, because so many ships use either one of the struts, it's now impossible to fix it without corrupting people's ships. So that's the reason there are two struts there. At least that's why I believe there are two struts there. The real reason could be completely different. Arthur might just want two struts there, but I doubt that with him. So I think it's more of a legacy issue, because obviously you don't want to corrupt people's starships. Okay, now I need to redo a little bit of a redesign, but that's okay. We're going to just save this starship here, which is just, it's already that, so let's just not do that. Okay, let's build it here. Alright. So, generator. Or shall we build it a slightly different way? Generator, generator. La 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 la. Ba da ba da da. Ba da ba da. Di ba di di ba di da ba di da. Ba ba ba. My apologies for immediately going into song when that's just unfortunately what I end up doing. It's just what I do, unfortunately. Yeah. I might want a little more of a controlled weapon attack. And of course we're going to want protectors, because protectors are the mainstay of the Blue Force, let's be very clear here. Without protectors, you sadly lose a lot of efficiency. Now, when building these sorts of guns, remember that it is most efficient to go biggest to smallest. Now, that's not because of the size, it's because of the way that the cost boosting as well works out. Because although you boost the weapon efficiency and power, you also boost the power cost and other things. So, putting velocity amplifiers at the back, which also increase rate of fire, then damage, then range is the most efficient stack in terms of minimizing power usage. Having range, then damage is more power intensive than the other way around. If I remember it correctly, it might be the other case, but I think that's pretty much correct. Good. Okay, we're going to just make this, and it's a little unnamed spaceship, but it'll be fine for our causes. It's not going to fly all too beautifully, but it can fly, and I think that's the key element here. Okay, alright, so we've got a bit of flight. Alright, it can turn. It can turn nicely, and it's got a little bit of a sniper gun. Poo, 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 poo. Fortunately, we can lose our range very quickly. But for now, it'll work fine. You see, this what little hits it gets, they matter. But what it needs is a rate amplifier, so we can hit a little bit more consistently. Now here, I need to actually do this. And you'll notice something. The blues have extendables that way, which is a very strange system. And I should actually be using them. But I like it. These, of course, also can go bigger. But I find it amusing. The blues. I'm so used to calling them as the blues. That's what they were known by as for so long. Tinkrell, fair enough. So yeah, it's quite an amusing thing. And we can give a few small thrusters here. Yeah, let's give ourselves a little more forward thrust. Okay. I think this is generally what most starter ships usually look like, because hello? Are you real? Why can't I hit that ship? That's really weird. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. We've got an agent on us. And he's Terran, so it's gonna hurt. And I don't have a gun. Ah! Humble beginnings, humble beginnings. Tell you what, this ship needs some thrusters here. just to help stabilize out. The first thing we're going to get is also a defense laser. Come on. He's such a wuss. Come on, fire harder. More. Weakly. Come on, you're nearly there. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. Well done. So that ship has no power. Well, it has like one generator, but it's not enough for it to maintain fire. Sorry, I also have warm noodles. Well, not warm. They're actually quite hot. It just makes me feel more comfortable. So I've just got noodles. Don't worry about it. I'm not going insane. Just got noodles. It's fine. But if you hear me clink every now and then, that's it. And I'm sorry. I understand that can get on people's nerves. But don't worry, it gets on mine as well. So we'll just have to deal with it together. Ooh. Weird little soundtrack. Go on, fire. Okay, what I should do is rejigger this like that. Put shield at the front as well. So I can actually... no, I can't. Put one there, that there. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I'll reshuffle them around so that they work a little bit better. So that there's a little more forward shielding, which is necessary. Resources! Let's get them quickly. I would prefer shield back here. That's far too eerie. Give me reassembly OST. I'll go back to the Fields OST when we mess around with gravity wells, because then it's actually surprisingly appropriate. But I don't want something that's that eerie. It's too eerie. Too eerie. Okay, thank you for all capacity reminders. We need to stick a few arm banks on. This is just going to have to be the makeshift. It's just going to have to be what we do for now. Defense lasers. Ooh, that's really difficult to look at. Well, let's grab a defense laser. This, and... yeah, why not? Let's grab some solar arrays. And a decoupler. And a velocity amplifier. That should be perfect, actually. So the decoupler works with these new utility bindings, which are very fun. Utility bindings work for utilities like the decoupler. So this works with Z. So if I press Z, it'll the block. Okay, so the block itself, when I press Z, will explode. It won't damage us, well, not much, but it'll send us rocketing off. So if I were to say have this, I could do that, and I could make a very strong forward armament. Pretty much like that. Or I could attach it to the R banks, etc. We can then deploy, collect some lovely resources, build our heavier segment. Get fire, they were like, oh, this is too heavy, we need to retreat. Detonate it and fly off. Now, that's not useful in that position. It'd be more useful here, in these positions, because then I could jettison the real cause of the weight. However, in this situation, I didn't want to, because we'd lose our resources. Relatively temporarily. So these are just going to sit here, although they're not going to really be of much use. And I'm going to keep the extra, the added armor that adds onto the front. I'll just compensate with thrusters. Pardon me. Yeah, that should be fine. Well, relatively fine. Okay, good. Good. The unnamed spaceship. We should probably give it a name at some point, but we'll get there eventually. Okay. Now I want to expand this back section to have a few lasers in it. So, yeah, it'll be fine. There we go. Okay. Build on some lasers. Some Thrusters. Let's go. Very nice. Very nice. Flying very nicely. Got a good turning circle. It's got good acceleration. Collision! Collision and lag. A little bit of floating lag, it's fine. Let's grab some resources. We can find a station. Probably go to try and liberate a station, although I don't have a very good main gun, so. Now, why did it do that? It's because you can't just have a blank name. So. Strat Explorian. It's too English. And by that I mean it's not a made up enough word. Ilvidiar Extravanor. Mark 1. There we go. Very nice. This is quite a sniper cruiser. It's not very beneficial in generality. I'll make a more... Ooh! Hammerhead. That's a new starship. That's a new Terran starship, I tell you what. It's not... That's never existed. There we go. Let's smack them. Gold Terrans. Okay, good. That's a starship and we'll sell off our resources. Luckily that's automatic. Smack, 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 smack. Fire, 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 fire. Do, 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 do. Luckily that forward armor is paying dividends. We can stand up a little bit. The Blues have always been quite a butter faction, or shall we say glass cannons, which is, I think, very appropriate. However, it does make them quite easy to smack. Now, the Infidiar Extravanor is a nice ship, quite heavy, but it doesn't have the weaponomic superiority we require. Now, we could give it some drone launchers, that might be fine. But I think for now, the Mark II version is going to have to, well, first of all, get rid of this because it's not useful. We'll leave that. Put some of that there. That's actually working out fine, I think. We could put it on the inside. Let's redesign this frontal segment because this can be a 3-sack. We can make it relatively equal with the other side. Well, in terms of the R bank being 3, 1, 3. That'll be fine. I can do that. That's maybe later, not now. Solar arrays are nice, but they're heavy. Mass 10, mass 60. So the combined mass of these two are equal to one of these, but it generates resources, of course, which is a fair trade. And want more damage. Who wouldn't want more damage? That's the problem here. Good, let's make it like that. There. Now I should probably relocate these protectors back here now that we've got that forward protector. Otherwise we're going to lack significant rear section shielding, which is quite necessary. We also need to work out where we're going to stick more power. I'd say here and here. That's nice. Yeah. These, well, we're going to lose that, unfortunately, but I think the side structures make up for it. Okay, enough of me talking softly. I think too softly. Sorry about that. I get building, and then I don't think to talk loudly. I talk softly. A later version will incorporate some secondary guns. I think that's sufficient. For now, it's a sufficient version. Okay, that's the Mark II. I think it'll be slightly more superior. Oh my word. Blue drones seem to be working a little bit better, I think. Just the missiles they throw are beautiful. Okay, this is a big, heavy sniper. Sniper is more so the role I like to play when I go Tinkrell. Yes, I know. Don't worry. Also, if you're wondering where the tutorial is, I have a little mod called I'm a Veteran Thanks, which just makes it very, very small. And welcome to a gravity well. It's a lovely little thing. I love these things. They're very fun. Because the AI can navigate them and they fly around and do insane stuff. It's very entertaining. And we can try and match the orbit of this. And just slow down. And there we go, we activated the station. Now some of these stars, so yeah, they're these neutron stars that have popped up around the galaxy and they're causing massive gravitic shifting, and you can look at this. It's hilarious, I love it. We can try and knock out one of those little guys. But there's also that massive asteroid there, which I don't want to say hello to. So let's just thrust out of this. Go. Okay, well, whose territory are we in? Farmer. And then there's our Infidemia. Okay, hello farmies. I want to try not to accept them. That's not what I mean. Upset them. Oh, this little one's partly in the gravity well, but it's not affected. Just gonna skirt around the reds. I want to get over to this other little station over here. Hello, ready? Hello. Still neutral. Good. They only get annoyed with you if you bump into them or shoot them. That's the, because then you're trying to attack them. Basically. I mean, what would you think if you were, minding your own business and then some weird looking starship from another faction comes up and just bumps into you? It's like, they're trying to ram us. It's like, well, let's return the favor. Wait, oh yeah. And also the normal little drones also doing well. I do want a rocket drone. Rocket drones are fun. They're 205. Thing is, they have rockets. So rocket drones are the only semblance of missile the Tinkrell will ever get. Sorry, let me just have some of my noodles. Very nice. Alright. Lovely. Also, there's big protectors. Now, what we do need is more power points. We will get a few small drones and a factory. Ooh, 777B. How lucky is me? 270C. Wait, no. 270C. Victory shall be. I nearly hit that. I guess, I don't know. 273, lucky as me. No, 777, Stairway to Heaven. I guess that actually works pretty nicely. Nice smack. Okay, so now we're getting to the point where the Tinkrell becomes too powerful. Because Tinkrell is a stupidly powerful faction. Well, okay, they have the capability of snowballing into extreme power. Ooh, but early on, their small ships aren't worth a damn. Like, my ship is 489. And I tell you, this Arbalist would hurt me. Oh, okay, watch the missile coming in. They smack. Now, and of course this red ship will just eat me alive. Just like that. But once they get big enough and they can aim their massive cannons, they steamroll. They are glass cannons. Not glass. I'm listening to too many American things lately and I'm getting the American accent. That's just that we don't want that. Don't want it. I don't. I'm sorry, Americans. I just don't want it. I'm sorry. I'm very, very particular about my accent. Okay, I don't know. Shame. I don't want anyone's accent except my own, I guess. Let's 8:55 while I'm alive. 9:41. Sounds like fun. Make a defense laser. Why not? Okay. All right. Now we have slightly bigger structures to work with. Let's build something funny. Ooh, perfect. I wasn't even wasn't even planning for that. Boom, 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 dun, 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 dun. Good, I like that. Then we need some arm banks. So if I didn't have that there, I could put it there, but I don't want to. I can reposition these, that's fine actually. Then I can have the arm banks sitting in here, which is actually perfect. Although I might want them somewhere else, but I think for the purposes of this station, it's actually fine. So this is a little, I don't know, little command station probably. Well, not a little command station, but a little outpost station. Something like that. We'll go find some normal struts. We'll make a little... yeah, I suppose I could... No, I want something. I don't want that. I want... Yeah, something like that. That looks nice. That looks nice. That looks appealing. We can do that sort of structure on the sides. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. And then at the very tips, we can put a few drone launchers. Now, these guys need power. I know that much. Okay. Regen energy per drone is 200. And from these generators, we generate 100 per second. So, that's one drone. From here, we generate 40. So, we've got 1.5 drones worth of energy generation so far, and we have 4 drones. I can fill this middle area with generators. But then the cost of the station is going to go up exponentially. So 1, 2, 3, and then one of them is just going to have to suffer. Yeah. Because I want to put the shields in there, because that's a bit necessary. I could probably include the generators as part of the structure of the drone tower, because once the drone goes down, well, once the tower's down, there's no reason to have that excess generation, so I can actually just streamline the efficiency of this station by simply not having to care. We'll put the lasers in the middle, because the lasers can subsist off of the 40 power. And I do want, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the 4 thingies, and that's fine. The lasers take 3 energy per second, which this command and control module, I like that, can provide happily. Then we can actually just disperse a few of these out, because they're relatively ineffective in a sense. Stratus, straight in. Gallium. Gallium's a nice element. Gallimera Strata. Gallimera Station. Gallimera. Gallimera sounds nice. That sounds like a nice station name, Gallimera. I think that's quite cool. Gallimera Station. Okay, good. Now we have a station which can produce units for us. It's not as resilient as the other stations, but oh well. Don't tell it. Okay, hello sniper. Well, oh my word. Okay, I thought I was a sniper. Well, I didn't actually think it. I Antimatters, my friend. Antimatters are scarily powerful. So Tinkrell can exponentially grow in power because they have the potential for massive amounts of damage once they have the big main guns. But the thing is, Terrans still kick butt quite severely. So there isn't that much room for the Tinkrell to be badass. Things that beat Tinkrell are fast Terrans. Sorry, but I just want to have my noodles before they get too cold. And yeah, Fast Terrans and Sentinel. Prating 'n bietjie Afrikaans hier. Sentinel. And Sentinel melee armor. Sentinel melee armor. Okay, let's not get like that, shall we? And Sentinel. Yeah, let's be highly amused. Sentinel melee armor. That's sort of the thing that happens. But yes, so Sentinel melee armor comes up and it just rams and obliterates. Because unfortunately, since Tinkrell is such a margarine armor, doesn't really help. I mean, look at this, 300 health, whereas a normal Terran block would have 250. It's more than the red faction, I'll give it that, but it's still not much. It really isn't much in the grand scheme of things. Vidyark Stravanor Mark II. Now the third phase of this ship, or not phase really. Well, I suppose a phase would be a sort of just a different variant in a sense. But not really. That'd be a Varia, not a phase would be a phase of Starship. That's not really a good thing to work with in this environment, because it's not. You wouldn't go in phases unless you were trying to make some kind of, well, this little ship turns into this bigger ship, which turns into the bigger ship, bigger. Now that could work as a phase. You'd have like, I don't know, let's make a generic starship name. The Mega Dreadnought Phase 1. It'd be like this little thing that is basically the substructure of. Oh, I'm sorry, Farm. I didn't mean. I'm sorry. I wanted to shoot the red, but I'm sorry. The farmers. Oh, I love the farmers. They're such a nice faction. They look lovely, and they're all green and calm. Oh, missiles. Never mind. Green and calm out the window. Also, they're beautiful. And they got all the plants over there, which I like. But yeah, where am I going? Where are we? Okay, we're down here, so we need to go into the middle. Oh, I understand how map generation works. So although it showed me a preview, that was not the actual version I was with. I like that. And then when it actually generated the map, it generated within those boundaries, but it gave me a different sort of... okay, now, Farmer Unobtainium is difficult for a certain level of Terran gun to get through. What is this? Dash barge. Oh, that's cute. It's got the decouplers. Oh, I like that. Okay, unfortunately, I think an explosion has knocked out my main gun, so I need to just run. Okay. Luckily, you can sort of do a neat little trick against missiles, but that's just... It's not a trick. It's what we call good piloting. Where you swerve and the missile overshoots you and misses you, which is a fun thing to do, especially if you can do it right, but it's difficult. Some missiles have far too good maneuvering. Okay, we've got an agent over here. We've got Notorion, Chaser, Systeme D. That's the Spore credit currency. Carl Tegan. Carl. Zanderman. Silas Basgard. That's quite cool. Oner. Is he Russian? Who knows? Retronaut. Retronaut. That's a nice name. Charles. 12875. I had a math tutor called Charles. Wow, long ago. So that's old history. Anyway, I'm just remembering now. Pretty nice. Okay, let's buy things. I say that as if I'm some sort of old man. It's like I remember now, and the far distant. No, but I do remember Charles. Those fun days. Sort of nutty math tutor, and just like having more laughs than maths half the time. Noodles. Right, I'm not really in a position to fight that adversarial superstar ship off in the distance called Notorian, but we could probably give it a go, give it a good scouting match. Although, do I really want to? That's probably the question. Yeah, that's a lot of, actually, that ship is 1442. I could probably make a pretty decent starship of a bigger class. The thing is that even a low-level Tinkrell can do a hell of a lot of damage. I mean, look at this. But the problem is that low-level Tinkrells still get their butts kicked because they usually don't have enough power points put into thrusters to afford heavy armor and good rotation. And as a Tinkrell, since you are literally a cannon, you need to move your entire ship, so you can't afford, you know, weight. That's the one thing that's going to kick you in the butt. Now, I could make a machine gun, a few little light machine guns to try and deal with these tiny things, because I can't hit tiny things, not reliably. I'm more of a heavy assault starship. Okay, this is going to hurt, but we might survive. You see, a decoupler would have come in useful there, but still, we survived. Oh, that's a lot. That's way too many drones. Okay, alright. Alright. We might need some more defense lasers. And I see we've 1,253. That's a big area to expand into, actually. So we're going to take off the cap of this. Going to move it over here. Now, I don't want to make more guns. Sorry, I don't want to make more of this gun. I want to make more guns. I'm getting myself very confused. So I need to do this. And hopefully make a bunch of small, what I call pester guns, which are meant to just divert the enemy slightly, in the sense that they open fire, they do some damage, they can hit smaller targets. They're not that great as an offensive weapon, but they've got enough rapidity to be useful. Rapidity, you might ask. Yes, rapidity. Rapidity. It's not the proper word, but I'm just gonna let it be the proper word because, you know, why not? Rapidity. Rapidness, I guess. But who wants to say rapidness? Probably someone, I guess. But I mean, I don't want to be that person. Shame. Oh well. We'll just armor this up so it can take a few extra hits. Remove that. Also, this gives me a lot of space for lasers, which is what I want right now. I would stick a level 2 laser in there, but we don't really have the space. We also need more power. And that's going to be a sticking point for the rest of this entire playthrough. Well, I don't call it a playthrough, I call it the series. Because playthrough sounds too... Hey guys, what's going on? 360 Michael here. It's like... I'm not doing that. No, it's not a let's play. It's reassembly. It's more about the game than me, I think. Or at least that's the way I do it. Because I like the game more than I like myself. Oh no! What existential dread. Okay, this is nice. There's a Mark III. It's pretty good. That's actually probably more than enough power generation. In terms of thrust, we might want more, but I don't know. We don't want to push it. That's the thing. We don't want to push our thrust too hard, but we do want good rotation. And because of that, I'm going to add more guns, more things back there. Diagonal thruster structure on these sorts of starships is very effective. Good, we're going to make that the Mark III. It'll probably be a really good ship, actually. This will probably be the last version of this sort of relative assault starship. Well, okay, heavy bombardment craft, and then the smaller guns. Actually, the smaller guns need to put on right click. I could also put them on point defense, but I'd rather have them be on right click. What can't I shoot? Hello? Oh no, I double clicked, so I selected all of them. I'm a ninny. Okay, there we go. I've got our main gun. Alright, and because I made that slight change, I'm going to just put it there. Alright. Because now the bindings are set and I want to save them into the starship, so it just makes my life easier. Okay, L-core. Let's hold X to hold position and see if we have the range. We don't really have the range, but I do have this lovely spray of bullets, which is pretty nice. Let's see if we can do any sort of damage with them. We can definitely hit closer up things, but it's as I intended, more of a street sweeper kind of gun. It's not going to be very effective at punching through main starships. Well, it'll be useful. Watch this. Ah, okay. He's running too well, actually. But it'll be useful like this. But when it comes to more heavy-duty starships, which we aren't really going to encounter in the vanilla game, but we could, then, especially when we fight Sentinel, when we try to get to the center of the galaxy, then, at that point, this is not going to cut it. But you can see I can still take out the odd ship. Okay, let me have some noodles. Ah, very nice. Just makes me feel warm and cozy while I play Reassembly, and really that's what I want. What? Destroyed by Hive. Sector and destroyed Notorian. Oh my word, Notorian. You got... Okay, first of all, who the hell is Hive? Destroyed by Hive. What is that message? It's gone, unfortunately. I need bigger lasers for the point defense capabilities. See, the main gun is nice and heavily armored, so it can take some beatings, but that is a heavy drone ship. I need to pull back into this. I need to pull around the station. Let me deal with it! Okay. The station can take the beating while I pull back and try and snipe this little guy. Okay, get a few hits. Get a few hits. They mustn't take down the station, otherwise I'm going to get really annoyed. Primarily because these drones are infuriating, but I can just get close up and use my skirmish guns, as we call them. I'm sort of the one that... Have you ever... Oh my word, sorry. If any of you remember the old deluxe gaming reassembly tournaments, which I also co-hosted in, I sent in a Tinkrell ship once, and it was a Tinkrell skirmisher. Well, it was the first Tinkrell skirmisher sort of thing, and it got in pretty damn far. That was also the same time when other people were sending in skirmishers, but my skirmisher beat everyone except Camo 5. Good old Camo 5. And that was the Primarch. No, not the Primarch. The Arch of Orion. What is it called? The Ark of Orion or something was the name of my skirmisher starship. And it had three big main guns, which was meant to work like this, where you get in close to the enemy, you have a sniper gun, and you have your skirmish guns, and the idea is you get in close to your enemy and you just do a little controlled fire and just sweep across and you destroy everything. It worked very well against pretty much everything I fought, which was amazing and very lucky. Because some of those starships would have wasted my starship, but some of the other, ships would have annihilated my Tinkrell skirmisher, but I got very lucky in the ones that fought. And actually I ended up fighting quite a lot of. I think I fought mostly all of the Tinkrell skirmishers apart from Camo and maybe one or two other guys. It's a big tournament, and that's sort of when having a Tinkrell skirmisher started being a thing that people did. People never thought Tinkrell could skirmish, but you can prove that wrong. Quite a few people did that, and definitely proved the Tinkrell dynamic to be capable of that sort of thing. Unfortunately, I've lost my secondary guns, but the main gun is safe and secure, so we can still do some damage. Unless I ram into a rock and get hit by missiles simultaneously. I believe that's what happened. I don't know. You lot are watching the video. You can see what happens better than me, since I'm actually trying to physically control that darn thing. It's often a thing in games where you watch someone play, and you wonder how didn't they see something, and the rationale is simple. They were trying to literally control something in a space and area. Let me just pull back to get some repairs. While thinking about their next move, and you're not doing that. So of course you're going to have way more mental resources available for seeing what's going on, whereas the poor guy playing it has got to kind of deal with a bit of tunnel vision, because you're focusing, and that's how focus works. Overcoming tunnel vision is basically just getting so good at focus you don't need to focus anymore. Okay, but that's not strictly true. Maybe I'm talking out of my thumb, but in a sense that's kind of the idea, I guess. you wanted me to put it into some strange sort of amusing way. Okay, well, we're finishing off these guys' forces. He's kind of getting his bum kicked. Slightly. Well, not even slightly, quite largely now. That's good. Alright. Now, I still have pack rat transients enabled, which means that ships can pick up other ships' equipment more than they would normally, because usually ships rarely pick up other ships' equipment. But this mod called pack rat transients increases the likelihood that a ship will pick up another ship's blocks quite dramatically. So you get ships which are just rough amalgamations of a lot of things. It's quite amusing. Let me try and smack this red ship. It doesn't bother our little friend here. Come on. Underdog wars. Yeah, pick on someone your own. Actually, wait. I can't say that because I'm not his own. I'm not his son. Okay, well that's actually a fair fight. You do go at it. Okay, now I'm gonna ignore the gravity well. We're gonna try and push on because I know that we started round about. Wait. Well, okay, whatever. So the stations have sort of generated. So there's going to be sort of that. I want to try and go towards the center as always. Well, not as always, as I've now started to plan and say, yeah, I'm going to go towards the center. But what we need to do is build a command control ship. A command and control ship, a mothership that'll just be kind of there to support. And I'm going to just start with a basic scaffolding structure. Maybe I'll finish it off next episode, or I'll finish it off now, but how I do this is going to be interesting. Because I need to leave room for things and stuff, and that's a very descriptive word, but basically this is a command and control ship with resource production. I'll tell you what, there isn't a bigger shield. What am I doing? But I do want to protect it. We'll nestle the protector in here with the shields, which always feels wrong for me. So actually, I'm not going to do it. It always feels wrong, so I'm not going to do it. Oh, I'm not wrong. It feels it's off to just have the generators right next to the protectors. There, and there. This is going to look a lot better, don't worry. It's not just going to be a blob full of sticks and stuff. It's going to be a little more structural. It's going to have some structural dimorphism, if I can say that. Does that make sense? Structural dimorphism? I think it works. I said it's going to change and be irregular. Well, it won't be irregular, really. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Put some extra things in. It's not going to have main guns. What it'll have is, more often than not, a support fleet, which will have the task of making sure that it doesn't get its butt kicked, basically. Which... Oh yeah, I turned off the Fields OST. I was wondering, where's the... I want some... I wasn't wondering, but I was thinking, you know, I could do some of that new music. Because it is nice. It's just I turned it off because it was going through the... It was going through its emo stage. And I didn't want to deal with that. Because it's not the feeling I want at the beginning of the episode. That'd be a little bit annoying. Well, just be off-putting. It's not new and hopeful, which the beginning of a playthrough should be. Whatever. Alright, let's do this. We'll do this. Now, there's a trick that I think I've mentioned before, that you never put your turning thrusters at the back of your ship, to make sure that thing always actually points towards the enemy. That's not true if you do this, however. Well, not as strictly true. This can work a little bit fine, but yeah. So we've got a lot of power generation. I'm going to strap a lot of drones to this. So that one's... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. We can afford 8. I'm only going to have 6. That'll be fine. And the rest is going to go towards the shields and everything else. These things use 500 per second, which is a lot, but they do have, 2,500 health, and we would expect it that the 400 power excess should be able to sustain one of them. I'm gonna have to add in more generators, but so it's now 600 power excess. So that's enough for one of these to keep continually recharging. It's enough for all of them to at least get about 100 power each. So it will tick up slowly. Although I'm not entirely sure if that's exactly how it works. I think one of them might consume everything, but that's not usually how it works. Things usually get shared out quite nicely. The way Reassembly does its stuff. Let's do this, and then let that be like that, because I want to do this. Okay. And then actually I'm going to factor that out. Because do you want to know what we're going to put in a factory? Exactly. I was wondering, where's my factory going? Then I remembered, alright, I should probably design that. Pardon me. Lots of coughs. I'm not the healthiest person today. I'm usually not that healthy, which is a tragedy, but that is unfortunately the case. It's just the case. What have I done? Okay. So we've got a nice little superstructure. What was I called? A hyperstructure. That has relatively determined the look and feel of the ship. I now just need to work out where I'm going to put resource banks. Because that's something I forgot about. I always forget about resource banks. Because they're an awkward shape. They're a very awkward shape. And so factoring them in is sort of the last thing I do. Even though it should really be the first thing I do since it is the most awkward. But I don't. And that's unfortunately my fault. Purely because I forgot it this time. But I could do this. That won't be yeah, it's reasonably appealing, I suppose. I can do this, but then the drones won't be able to get out at all, and they'll barely be able to get out as it is. So let's use it as a shielding structure to protect those other thrusters. And then I realized that this thing has no backwards. Well, that is the backwards, but you know what I mean. This. There's some, as I call it, backup forward thrusters, which are very, very necessary. Alright. This is going to be, well, the Mummy command ship. If anyone has a naming suggestion, I would highly appreciate it. Stick it down in the comments. I always read comments, and I always appreciate them. I always think about all the naming suggestions I get. I usually don't get very many, but that's okay. You're more than welcome to watch and be quiet. No, you're not. Yes, you are. No, you're not. Don't trust him. Don't trust him either. But anyway, I think that's pretty nice. I'm going to add a few little finishing touches. My headset keeps beeping. I have to plug it in. It's a bit off-putting. I don't want to smooth it out too much because I like the square look the rigid look of it. Although I don't have much choice in the matter. There are no triangles or anything. So, but yeah, it's not the prettiest ship, but it'll work. And I guess that's really what I'm concerned about right now. I'll make a nice looking starship at another point. This isn't a very nice palette, I would say. It's almost too brown, but I like it. It's got a bit of character, so that's fine. It'll be alright. Oh god, yeah, you know what? Looking at this now, it's kind of like, oh, what have I made? Well, look, if you want your name to be, not your name, but your naming suggestion to be there, give it to me, and I'll consider it, and then you can, you know, you can, you can unfortunately have a name on this poor, horrifying starship, which I definitely need to make look better, because this, I don't like a checker pattern. That's awful. Please, either don't do a checker pattern, or just don't, or just don't. I don't want a checker pattern. That just makes it, that distracts from the starship. I'll do this repeated L look rather than a checker pattern. Oh, checker patterns. Oh. Okay, that's better. That's better. I just don't like checker. It's also, it looks too stubby. This rear section needs to be expanded. I don't like stubby starships. I don't like stubby starships. They look too unnatural, would almost be the word I would use, but I don't think it's very accurate to what I mean. Unpleasant, not comfortable, maybe unhealthy. I suppose, yeah. Just, it would look not very useful. You know, the exhaust's got to poke out just a little bit, otherwise it's kind of just, you know, gnarly. Alright, looks a bit low. That looks a little nicer. This frontal section is too thin. These frontal stabbers be a lot thicker. That's what's off-putting me. When things are out of proportion, there we go. When things are out of proportion, they don't look nice, nor do they look very appealing. Now you might be asking me, okay, how the hell would these sections be out of proportion? You need to look at it and sort of feel the look of it. And that sounds like a weird statement, but it's actually entirely accurate to the process. You're looking at the darn thing and you're saying, does it look appealing? Does it look comfortable? And it's not even an active thing. It's you're looking at the darn ship and you're saying, does it look cool? That's literally just it. It's breaking down those things into what's making it look weird. That is the tricky part. And you'll find that errors in proportion are one of the big things, because we're humans and we look at humanity, we're looking at each other, and we're programmed to see that proportionality and judge that as healthy, because that is healthy, going according to the structural plan. Otherwise it's not good. Well, for blatant reasons. It doesn't work well, isn't effective, and probably is going to have health risks. But anyway, so, you know, even when it comes to things that aren't people, the starships, the same thing applies to, you know, not to the same degree, but I guess it's also just more an aesthetic sense. You know, you sort of say, okay, well, maybe that looks too thin for the big thing it's supporting, and that's also a physics-based question, you know. It's like, well, as an engineer, you wouldn't be happy with that, would you? It's like, you know, but it can look very nice when it's done right, but that it has to be done in proportion again. Certain things. Look, I'm being all wishy-washy here, but, you know, it's just that, yeah. I don't know, I want to be somewhat interesting, and I guess I just don't think what I'm saying is very interesting, so I'm now having doubts about what I'm saying. Interesting. Practical. There, that looks a lot nicer. That looks a lot nicer. And that actually gives us a good space for a main gun if I ever want to add one, which I don't know if I want to. We're going to have to just add some of these. A nice big main gun. Now, why would I do this? Because why not? The rate amplifier can go there. Just so it has an offensive weapon beyond itself, I guess. That's already looking a lot better. Look at that. Okay, it's not magnifique, but it's, you know, it's pretty okay. It's pretty okay. It'll be fine. Oh well, maybe you've learned art, or maybe you've just listened to a madman ramble on for half an hour on how starships should probably look nice because they should be in proportion and be relative to in the same way that we see healthy people and whatever other bubkiss I was going on about. Anyway, if you push past that and get to the heart of the matter, I just like building starships. Oh well. So that's just the problem. I like building starships, and it's gotten to the point where I attempt to be very where I've attempted to figure out the method structure behind good-looking starships. And I don't know if you, well, you definitely can, but yeah, well, maybe not all the time. Relatively dependent is probably a nice word, but I don't like that idea. I don't like the idea of things not having an absolute value. It just feels boring. Feel boring and unsatisfying. It's like or what's the word I want? Like cheap, like a cop-out solution. I don't know. Well, maybe I'm getting deep into theory now. Am I happy with this? Am I? Am I happy with this? These little I like these little struts. You see, these like make it look cool. It's nice and connected. It's a little strengthened. Also, I suppose because I've got a bit of well, whatever. I'm happy with that. That'll be fine. There should be some lasers up at the front, but these big lasers have enough range that they'll be fine. Okay, good. Maybe I want to just hide a laser or two up here and here as well. Right in the middle. Alt drag, thank you very much. Good, that's fine. Alright. Very nice. That'll be okay. We don't have enough PowerPoints to make it, but next time we'll go and try to get up the credits. The social credits. Acquire by helping your faction, destroying enemy ships, transfer on to allied spawners, spawn and release ships, or explore new sectors. So yeah, I am actually glad this resource description is here. That's actually very nice for new players. Very nice, because you get that more understanding. Okay, good. Good. I'm happy with that. Good. And we'll figure out a way of building that thing, I guess, at some point. I could turn into the station. Let's turn to the station temporarily. We won't generate the resources fast enough, but I can definitely pause and wait for it. Do we want to do that? I don't know. I don't know if we want to. But whatever. I guess we'll just settle down. You know what? Lore-wise, the captain came here, and after fighting a great battle, he settled down and built a defensive space station. And from there, he began the work. Or shall we say? No, it's fine. It's fine. He settled down, constructed a station, and from there he began to plan for his command ship that would take him into the heart of the galaxy where these agents had come from. And he would exact revenge for them ruthlessly and mindlessly attacking his people. I guess that's pretty nice. So until next time, everybody. Off with you. Cheerio. Perfect.